teacher voice, if you will. Good morning. Thank you all so much. Thank you to everyone who came before me. I'm a little nervous because you guys were just phenomenal, but I'm going to try to finish this thing strong, all right? Today I am talking about everyday acts of activism as a sustainable solution to really big problems. Now we see, when we've heard and see every day a lot of massive, insanely confusing and upsetting world problems. And oftentimes we're left with this feeling of hopelessness. This feeling that there's nothing that we can do unless you're a celebrity or you're some rich person who makes this massive grand gesture. Things are just going to be the way they're going to be. And so we're left with this feeling of hopelessness and helplessness. But I would like to encourage you to look at this image as a representation of all the pain and all the suffering and all the issues in the world. But I want you to flip your perspective. Instead of seeing it as one massive, giant problem, try looking at things as a number, millions of tiny, everyday issues. Okay? When we can do this, when we can look at it as smaller pictures inside of a larger one, we can begin to take a step back into the grasp on how we can actually change things. Now, the question is, because there's still millions of tiny pictures, it's a lot of work to do. When are we going to have time to do this? And when do we start? Well, there's bad news and there's good news. The bad news is that the problems that we see, these massive problems, were not built overnight. The good news is that these massive problems that we see were not built overnight. You see, every single thing that we count as negative or exploitative or some form of injustice has been in the making for eons. It's been built up until now, okay? Which means that we're not expected to take everything down all at once. And which also means that the same way these massive problems stem from everyday actions, we can use everyday actions to get rid of them, okay? So there is a way to kind of tackle this and to deal with all of them, but we have to start right here and right now, okay? Because history has a head start on us. So only way we gotta get moving is by starting now. Now the question is the way. I always say finding your peace will lead you to your peace. And what I mean by that is exactly what I'm going to do right now to calm myself down. I need everybody to take a second and just take a deep breath. All right, that felt nice. Why I do that anytime I'm overwhelmed? Because I need to reorient myself. The fact of the matter is that everything we see in the world, whether we want to view this as a giant problem or a million tiny ones, can be overwhelming. Especially in a world where we always have our phones out, we have a 24-hour news cycle, and there seems to always be a tragedy occurring. It's just back to back to back to back. We don't even really have time to react, much less to process and prepare to develop solutions to these problems. And so the first thing I always do is I shut everything down. Now I know that's pretty abnormal for the world we live in. And there is a little bit of guilt because everyone says, well, you have to be informed and you have to know what's going on. I don't buy that. I shut everything down. I turn the TV off, I get off Facebook, I get off Twitter, and I take a step back. And I take a step back because just like this picture, if you're at the wrong angle, this is just a big old mess. It's just a big old mess. Sometimes you need to step back to see how it all works together and to orient yourself so that you don't get overwhelmed. Okay? When you find that peace and you're able to calm yourself down, you can actually take some rational steps to figure out how we can solve the problem. Now, the same way you find that P-E-A-C-E peace, I want you to find your P-I-E-C-E peace. And the way you do that is by moving back towards it. You're going to zoom in instead of zooming out. Okay? And what I mean by that is you're going to zoom right in to where you are. Your life, your community, your environment. Start with the things that matter to you. You can't fix all of these problems. None of us can. I've tried. And I'm exhausted. Okay? That's why I'm up here trying to solicit help. We can't. Find your peace. It's a massive puzzle. And all you have to do is zoom right in to where you are to find your picture. And you'll know exactly where to start. Okay? So we've got the where, we've got the when. Let's talk about the how. A lot of people ask me,
how I know I'm an activist and what that even means. And my simple answer is that I do activism. You said earlier, speaker here, you have to do to be. Okay? You ever met those people who are like super hardcore, working out, CrossFit type people, you know, the kind that annoy you because I'm not running anywhere because I'm getting chased. Those people didn't come out of the womb lifting tires. Okay? They spent day after day, hour after hour in somebody's gym, on camera, filming themselves, flipping off of things. They spent countless hours of time and energy doing that act so that they could then identify themselves as what they were doing. You have to do to be. And I promise you I didn't plan this, but it worked together really well. So the first thing I always say, your everyday kind of activism should start with you. Being who you are is an act of activism in and of itself, okay? You may not believe this, but I was a loud child. I had a whole lot to say. I know, it's shocking, but I had a whole lot to say as a child. I was loud, I was boisterous, I loved wild hair, I was wild, I didn't care. I had all these opinions and thoughts, and I grew up in the South, which meant I was everything a little girl was not supposed to be. Everything I did, everything I was referred to as mannish by the people around me. And for a while, I tried very hard to fit in, to be normal, if you will. It didn't go so well. But I'm glad that it didn't, because I learned at an early age that what I was at the time was positive for boys. And what I grew up learning eventually was that people would refer to the very qualities that were demonized as leadership qualities. And I was like, wait a minute now, the boy over here gets to be loud and funny and charismatic and wild, and he's a leader. What would that make me? And so as I begin to really pay attention to how my qualities in and of themselves weren't a problem, but that because they were attached to me as a girl, and specifically as a woman of color, they were problematic, I began to learn that I wasn't the issue. And that even in making people uncomfortable, me just accepting and being myself was a form of activism. Me standing here as a woman of color, who am I in a society to do that and express how I feel and what I want to do and where I want to go. We still live in a world that says that I'm not necessarily in my place. So right here, right now, me just being here, me just existing, breathing, wearing my hair the way I want to wear my hair, the way it was naturally created, that is a form of activism. So the first thing I want to do is encourage you to be you. If you want to be a smart, kind, artistic boy, if you want to defy stereotypes, do that. If you want to be a strong, loud girl, do that. Be you, because that's the greatest activism you could ever do in your life, okay? Now, the being you, will lead you to your where, okay? Who you are automatically informs the things that matter to you. You might care about the environment, you might care about health, you might care about activity, or, I don't know, cleaning up trash, or social activism. But who you are informs your where. So if you're still trying to figure out where you can start with your activism, look at self. Look in the mirror, because you has already shown you the way. Okay? Another positive benefit of being you is the how. It teaches you how. Your gifts, your talents, your abilities, all those answers are there. You will find your where, and your you will show you the how. So honestly, if you do nothing else to be an activist, just keep being you, because it'll take you further than you could ever imagine. Another form of everyday activism would be challenging the status quo, part of which would be being you. Ask questions. And I'm talking to the young people. You don't have to be disrespectfully rude. As a teacher, I'm just saying, you don't have to do that now. But don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask the why. Start to question that that's just the way things are. Don't accept that as an answer, okay? Especially when it comes to big world problems. Now, if I tell you you can't have, 2 packs of fruit snacks, and well, why? Well, why? Well, that's a different story. But when it comes to, issues, really big world issues, start asking questions. And don't stop asking questions. Okay? They're going to lead you. Every single time, all right? Join a community of activists. I love to do that. You guys are online all the time. Go on Twitter. Hit like. Hit share. That's activism. You're a part of something that is bigger than you. And that little act it can have a great impact. I have conversations online all the time where I'm learning things or I'm showing someone something else new. And it's all because I just hit a little button. Something that I don't even have to think about. I just do it. And all of a sudden things are moving. We are more connected now than we have ever been. All you have to do is hit a button. Okay? Now there are countless things that you can do here, and I won't walk through them all, but the fact is that little tiny actions can lead to big actions. Okay, oh, no, that's all right, I'm going to ignore that. This is supposed to say a bad case of the what ifs. Now, I've given you all this information, and I'm sorry, I just kind of threw it all out at you, but there are some very real concerns. The first is fear. A lot of things start because of fear. I'm standing here right now because of fear. A little uncomfortable. And I'm really good at talking. But in this moment, I'm not the most brave as I could possibly be. That said, I've always taken the approach to life to just do things afraid. Fear is normal. It happens. It's a human reaction. In fact, if you're not afraid right now, given our global and national climate, something might be wrong with you. Fear is real. And I'm never going to lie to you and say it will stop being real. That's not a reason to not do what you need to do. If you want to do something, do it. You can be afraid, do it afraid. I jumped out of an airplane last year. I was scared. I jumped out of that airplane because I spent $500 to jump out of an airplane. So I was going to jump. I didn't care if I was scared, okay? So if you're afraid, that's all right. It's natural and it's going to happen. Do it afraid. What if I fail? What if you fail? Take a second. Go back to what I said before. Everything that we see now as a big, massive problem has been in the making for years. If you don't succeed at your little small action, the world won't fall to pieces, okay? Everything's going to keep going. The status quo might continue for a little while longer. But all that means is that you have more time to get it right. Okay? You just got to start now so that you have the time to figure it out. You're going to fail. Life is as much about failure as it is about successes. But as the first speaker said, fail forward. It's okay to fail. I fail and fall all the time. I get up and I keep moving. Okay? So failure, it's okay, it's gonna happen, just accept it as it is. What if I'm too small? Who in here has ever felt like they were too small to do something? Mr. Yale's like 6'3", he's talking about he's too small. But you know what? It's fine. The great news about being too small is that the solution to the problem is small. Just like the problem is built every day in our small interactions, in those small conversations, in those small comments that might be offensive and they might not seem like such a big deal, that builds those systems. So it's going to take small things to tear those systems down. So if you're small, you're kind of the perfect size. Okay? What if I'm too young? Has anybody in here seen Harry Potter? Or the Hunger Games? Or every single post-apocalyptic film that we have had released in the last 20 years? This is your time. You've literally been trained by Stephanie Meyer, as weird as she is, and Susan Collins, and J.K. Rowling, and you've literally been trained to believe that it is your job, the teenagers, to go and stop evil. It is, you have the power. That's who you are. So you're never too young to start. Absolutely not. Go out and be Hermione or whoever you want to be, because that's the message you've been sent. And it's absolutely true, okay? Final question, the final what if is, what if I can't do it by myself? You're not supposed to. That's the point of joining the community. You have one tiny piece of the puzzle. You join with others, and we'll figure it out together, okay? Former President Barack Obama just released a quote and kind of stole my speech. So I guess I have to cite him. But he talks about how young people have been at the forefront of all of our nation's great movements. And his last words are words that I want to leave with you. As you begin to find your place in the world of activism and you join these communities, always know that there have been tons of people who've come before you. My time is almost up. I'm the first half of the millennial generation. Our time is almost done. You guys are coming to the forefront, okay? We have been waiting on you, and we do have your back. Please know that, like, when you want to stand up against injustice, especially students here, if you see me, I'm here. Let me know, because I'm always ready to fight. I mean, I won't fight a child, but, you know, I'm here for the cause, okay? And there are countless others who have come before you and who are right here willing to march with you and stand up with you against whatever is going on. So always know that we're right behind you and we're pushing you forward because you are the next generation of activism. Okay? Now, for all my young people out here, there's a man out there named DJ Khaled. Okay? Khaled always says, they don't want us to be great. They don't want us to win. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to win. Okay? You're going to go out there. You're going to find your piece of the puzzle. You're going to do what you have to do. I'm going to do my part. You're going to do your part. You're going to start with the environment. You're going to do something small every day. And we're going to build this thing piece by piece by piece until it all comes crumbling down. The only way to solve these massive problems is through small, conscious, everyday actions. And if we do it together, we can end up with a world that we'll all be happy to live in. Thank you.